Hi, and welcome to the Audacity Basics Workshop live edit tutorial. This is what your Audacity interface will look like when you first download the software. So as we talked about with levels up here, you can see that you have a level bar. And if you click that, it'll start showing you all the different levels and what you're hitting when you're speaking. So right now it's showing me and my levels are actually okay. I'm doing all right. And then if you want to stop monitoring, you just click again and it stops. That's a really important bar to know. So let's get started with editing some files. How you import in Audacity is you just click File, Import, and then Audio. And I have all my audio stored here. To select more than one piece of audio at once, you just click, if you're on a Mac, Command or Windows Control, and you just select the different files that you'd like. I have my audio of me speaking and some music that I selected for this piece. Just click Open, and they will import. Now, as you can see, these files look very different. This is the music file. As you can tell, it's much, much louder than the file that's down here, which is my voice. So we're going to ignore the music file for now, and I don't want to hear it as I'm editing the vocal file. So to avoid hearing it, you just click mute, and that silences this audio track. If you want your voice to be on top of the music, this tends to make it easier in editing. You just click on the track and drag it up. Okay, let's get started with our edit. So I'll play the audio for you once just so we can assess any of the issues that you think are present, and then we'll get started. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. Okay, so that was the audio that we're going to be working with today. The first thing I'm noticing is that there is just a bunch of dead air at the beginning of the audio. So to eliminate that, you're just going to click, and then you're going to click Edit and Clip Boundaries, and you're going to click Split. And then you can double click on that dead piece here, and it'll light up like that, and you just click Delete on your keyboard, and it gets rid of that dead air. Now, the next thing that you're going to notice is that the levels are a bit quiet up until we hit this really loud part here, Vavarutsos, where they get pretty high. So we have to raise all of these levels up. But before we can do that, what we need to do is actually lower these levels, or the audio is going to be completely out of whack. So I'm going to click where I want to start lowering, highlight that clip, go up to the top of the screen, Effect, Amplify, and I'm going to amplify it by -2 decibels. And then that didn't do a lot, but by clicking Command R, it repeats, and I'm going to do that until it looks about level with the rest of the audio, which is there. Then to monitor that and make sure it all flows nicely, you're going to go to the start of the audio and play it again. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. Okay, so it seemed to hit the same levels as the other parts of the piece, which is what we want to see there. Now here we have an audio peak like we talked about earlier. Because that's at the end of our audio, we can actually go ahead and eliminate that whole part as well. So Edit, Clip Boundaries, Split, double click, and then Delete. So now we have our final audio piece, and we want to raise the amplification on pretty much this whole thing because it is pretty low. So we're going to double click, and now the whole clip highlights. Effect, Amplify, and this is the recommended amplification, but that will bring it to 0 decibels, which we don't want. So what you want to do is, I like to go by 2s because it makes it really easy to monitor. So okay, and then we'll do Command or Control R a few times, and we'll just guess. So let's take a listen to it now. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. Okay, so that's sounding a lot better. The peak audio level did hit -6 decibels, which is where we want it to be. So I'm gonna say that that's doing okay for now. So now we can focus on the music. So we're gonna mute this track up here and unmute the music down here. Now, music tends to be a lot louder than the audio that you are using to speak, just because of the way that it's produced. So what you automatically want to do is double click on it and then go to Effect, Amplify. And for music, I prefer to do negative or -6 decibels and just click it like that. And that should bring it down to a decent level for background music. Now, because we want it to really be lower in the back, I'm gonna go ahead and do it by -2 and just do that a couple more times. And that should be a decent level for the background. So I'm gonna unmute this track and see how they sound above each other. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. So the music is still a little loud, so I'm going to Command R and do the same thing and just do it about 2 more times, and that should bring it down to a pretty good level. Now, as you noticed, the music has some dead air at the front and it starts at kind of an awkward spot. So you really want to move your vocals so that you have time to do some fading. So to move a piece of audio in the track, you're just going to click this arrow up here. It's the arrow with both sides. And you're just going to click on the piece of audio you would like to move and drag it. And that should give us a better start to the piece. So let's take a listen now. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. So that wasn't too bad, but you notice that the audio starts off pretty jarringly. So you want to come up here and click the selection tool, and you might want to just select the beginning part of the music and then go to Effect and click Fade In. And then similarly here, you want to select the end of the audio where I've stopped talking and click Effect and Fade Out. And that should give us a less jarring start. Hey, and welcome to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto's Audacity Editing Basics Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. All right, so we've finally gotten that all set. We're just a couple steps away from having a broadcast ready stinger. So I want the music to play for about 5 seconds after my voice stops being heard. So what you want to do is go to about right here in the music track and click there and then click Edit and Clip Boundaries and then Split and get rid of the rest of the track by double clicking and pressing delete. And because the music will cut off at an odd spot there, you might want to do a little bit more of an advanced fade. Okay, you want to click this envelope tool and you want to place a point where the music should start to fade and the point where you want it to be done. And so what you'll do here is drag down on these points to create a nice gentle fade to the end of the music. And I want it to start fading a little bit before my voice stops. Click select and then go back here and we'll just Sophia listen to the end. Workshop. I'm your host, Sophia Vavarutsos. And that fades out pretty well. So now that we're all ready to have our audio broadcast, you want to go to File, Export, Export as MP3, and save it as whatever you'd like it to be called. So in this case, we'll call it our broadcast stinger. Finished. And click Save. Click OK. And then here you'll just input your name and what you called it. So broadcast. And that's it. Click OK, and it should start exporting.